Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome. Today I want to talk about two DIYs that I was able to do, and I love it because anything that I notice that has crushed glass or mirror or anything like that, it truly brings so much brightness and light to the room, which I love that. And on this DIY I am going to actually, on this video there's two different DIYs, that way you guys could choose which one might work for you, or you might be able to or want to do both. What I love that most of these items I got from the Dollar Tree. I did get the crushed glass from Michael's. I take advantage when I see a great coupon and I find a big bag. I use that 50% coupon and I stock up on that when I see it. And also I created a small thin piece of wood to create a frame to give it more support. But I love how they came out. So here I'm gonna share those two DIYs of this wall decoration mostly from the Dollar Tree. So let's go ahead and get started. But guys, if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine. I'm so glad you guys are here. I truly appreciate if you like this type of video to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. So let's go ahead and get started with this DIY. So this is easy to do. All you need is 5 frames. These frames are a little bit different. I'm going to show you the ticket. They're a lot bigger than what I normally find in the Dollar Tree. What I love that the trim or the frame itself, it has a silver color, so I didn't have to paint it at all. And like I mentioned, it was a little bigger. I purchased 5, and I also need some bling mesh and the furring strip, which I got. We already had that from Lowe's or Home Depot. This was so affordable and easy to make. I purchased 5 mirrors from the Dollar Tree. I had some of the bling mesh that I bought in Amazon, so I had a lot. And I had this piece of wood. This is a furring strip that I got from Lowe's, and I have some extra and then some clips to put them together. Next, we place all of the 5 frames. We put them together, and we needed to see the size of the piece of wood that we were going to need, and that's how we determined the size that you see now. Once we were happy and satisfied with all the pieces put together, then we just clipped it on each border of the wood just to make sure that they connect. Then right on top, once we liked how it looked, then we used this acrylic paint that I used in other projects. I really love the color, and we applied, and I think just 1 coat was just enough. And this is how this piece of wood looks like. So now we're ready to apply the frames. You could buy the bling mesh like I have. I purchased this roll and it has lasted me for such a long time, or you could just buy it at Dollar Tree. So what I did was I measured one of the bling mesh, and as you see, I just selected one that has 3 rows, and I measured corner to corner, and I cut enough to go around the 5 frames. So I really like the touch that it gives, and just make sure that from the length it does fit, and the shorter side that it does fit as well. So that's why I started measuring the ones that are longer, and then I started gluing the ones that are much shorter. I hope that makes sense. Once all the mirrors had the bling mesh around, now it was ready to assemble. So what I'm doing is just lining them up with the frame to make sure that they're precise on the corners, so it kind of flush. And I just play with it before applying any hot glue and the E6000. So once I was happy with the design, you guys could play with the design, but this was pretty basic and simple. I added some E6000 around the corners like an L shape, just to make sure that wherever the frame was going to be with touching the glue, so as you see, will be just an L shape. That's why I applied the E6000, and then once I finished with all the frames, then I applied the hot glue right on top. And here, this is going to be the center. So once I did that, I flipped it, and where it meets, I raised it up a little bit and I applied some E6000 and hot glue. I left it like this overnight because I wanted to make sure that the glue dries up, and it does need some time. So here I would just raise it and apply some hot glue and E6000, and this is really sturdy, so I left it overnight, and then the next morning I was able to see that it was really glued in and set, and I turn it around and your project is complete. I love how this DIY was so simple and affordable, and I love how it looks like on my little dining room. I really love creating a touch of glam, and especially for the Dollar Tree, and I love how this came out. Anytime I go near the dining room and the living room, I really love how cohesive these both wall items look. And I purchased this rug. I got this rug at Home Goods, and this really inspired me because it has a little bit of that effect there. It's a little different, but I love the cohesiveness, and it was so affordable. So guys, I really love this DIY. Now let's go ahead and move on to the other DIY. So for the next DIY, as you see, this is a lot bigger. You're gonna see that there is 8 of those frames. They just have crushed glass in the center, and well, all around, and then in the center there's 3 mirrors. So you will see that there's gonna be different touches done for each to create this look. So we're gonna start with the borders, and those frames that have the crushed glass, I added some Mod Podge, and some glitter. So you're gonna need some glitter. This is up to you if you want to have a touch of glam on the borders of the frame. So these are what the frames look like. I removed the mirror, so I'm just keeping the frame, and I kept the back part of those frames. That's why you see the black part showing through. So go ahead and add the glitter. This is the fine glitter, and then go ahead and mix that. Once you have the Mod Podge with the glitter mixed together, it depends on the consistency or how glittery you want it. With the brush, I started to add that mixture on the border of the frame. So I'm going to do that with all of the 8 frames that you see in the picture. So let's go ahead and get started. For the next part, I use 3 frames that, as you see, the frame shape is very different, is very flat, and the color is already silver, which is going to go perfect with what I'm going for. The center, what I'm going to add is some blank mesh. This is a step where we just did very similar to the other one, but as you see, this one just need 2 rows while the other one needed 3 rows, because you do see the different size of the frame. So once all of the outer frames are already dried and set, I really like how it has this glitter touch to it. It's hard to see it on camera. You could actually do that same coat all around the frame, which I did the same thing with that piece of wood. I created that wood to be the size of the frames that I wanted. And now we're just gonna assemble it together. This one did had a very similar gap in between, so I kind of use a skewer to be my guide, so that way it is uniform and it is precise on between each frame. Once you're happy how each of the frames are gonna look and which border they're gonna go, I start applying E6000 just in that border, because remember, only like an L shape is gonna be the one glued into the frame. So that is the first thing that I do. And remember, I use that skewer to make sure that it is precise on each frame, between each frame. And then I'm going to also apply some hot glue to make sure that it does stick together to the wood a lot quicker. That way I can move on with the other frames. Once you're happy with how it looks like, you have applied E6000 and the hot glue with all 8 frames. Now we're going to apply the center frame, and that center frame is going to be the one that has a mirror. That one you're going to see that I'm going to align it in a different direction, but it's up to you how you want the wall art to look like. You guys could leave it like it is right now. It does look pretty, really pretty, but I added the crushed glass, which you're gonna see pretty soon. So this was gonna be my guide. That way I see exactly which corners on each frame I need to apply the E6000 and the hot glue. So that's why I turned it around, and I'm gonna start knowing exactly, just eyeballing that to know exactly where I'm gonna apply the glue and the E6000. You guys could leave this project just how it is. I think it looks very pretty. I love how it looks like. It goes so well with the other first piece that I showed you guys. But I wanted to add a touch of bling, and the next part, it did take so much time to do. So that's what I'm saying, it's up to you. So what I did was, like, remember guys, I said that I removed the mirror, but I kept the back part of it, which is black, for these frames. You could paint them if you like. I just left them black. And what I did, I started applying some Mod Podge and crushed glass. I continued doing that, and once it dried, I add more Mod Podge and more glass just to make sure that there wasn't that many gaps showing. Here you can see a little bit of the sparkle coming through from that mixture we did. So I really like how this came out. So now this is ready to be flipped. We left it like this overnight to make sure that it does set. So this is the part that we're going to be using, and I label every single one of them a different letter. That way I know exactly which way it was going to go. So for example, I'm just going to put it, and then I traced it. I did this before flipping it. I traced it, and then I put the letter, and I put that same letter on the wood, so I know exactly where it goes. So once you're finished with that, you will see that in that area I did not apply any crushed glass, so it could fit nicely. So this is key. Remember, you're doing 8 different ones, and you will see this is how it looks like. We did paint a little bit of silver on the borders because the black was coming through, and we couldn't apply more Mod Podge and the glass because it didn't fit well. It wouldn't fit well with the frame, so that's why the borders, you will see some of that silver color, so it could blend in with the frame. So this one has the letter on the back, and the letter is shown on the wood, so that way you know exactly which piece go on each. Once you have that all set and you're happy with how each piece look like, then we started applying hot glue on every single one of them, and we let that rest for a few hours. So this concludes this DIY. I was able to show you 2 different wall ideas. They're glam and they're so affordable. You could do this from everything from the Dollar Tree. You could just add the crushed glass like we did on this second DIY, and that wood that I feel like it helps keep it sturdy. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you really like this video, just give it a thumbs up, and I welcome you to subscribe to my channel. So thank you guys for watching, and until the next video, bye.